Welcome to Seeking to Remain. My name's Kate, and happy Easter. Thank you so much for joining me on this incredibly joyful day. If you've been here from the beginning, wow, thank you so much. It has been a journey, and it's been a really good journey. I hope that you have found something fruitful and beneficial from these videos. And if this is your first video, welcome. Thank you for clicking on it. I hope that you are celebrating a joyful Easter Sunday. I am hoping to continue through the Easter season, so be on the lookout for those videos and blog posts, and we'll see where God continues to take this. I wanted to pull out from Matthew's Gospel for this Sunday. We actually have two options for your Sunday morning, or if you're at Easter Vigil. There's many readings to choose from. But in Matthew's Gospel specifically, the women at the tomb are told twice, do not be afraid. First by the angels, and then by Jesus. They both say, do not be afraid. And this is something that Jesus has told his followers before. He's encouraged them to act boldly and to stand up for their faith and for what they believe him to be. He sends them out in his ministry. They can't do that if they're afraid. And he continues to say that to us today. Do not be afraid. Many Catholics know Pope John Paul II's famous first speech after he became Pope. And the first things he said was, don't be afraid. It's not hard to wonder why Jesus says, don't be afraid. Up and down history, Christians have been persecuted, which Jesus warned us about. Up and down history, there have been wars, there have been plagues, there's been violence, all of which we knew would happen. Maybe not when or how or who or why, but suffering is part of our human experience. And yet, even with all of those unknowns, Jesus still tells us not to be afraid. In today's society, there's a lot of fear. There's a lot of anger. And there's a lot of acting out of fear and anger in reaction to whatever's happening around us. Making a choice from a place of fear is usually not the best place. It's not the way that we're supposed to act. Because Jesus tells us very plainly, do not be afraid. He says in John's Gospel, after laying out for the disciples all the different ways that things are going to go astray and awry, he says, the hour is coming, indeed it has come, when you will be scattered, every man to his home, and will leave me alone. Yet I am not alone, for the Father is with me. I have said this to you, that in me you may have peace. In the world you have tribulation, but be of good cheer. I have overcome the world. We know the end of the story. Today's Easter. It's the resurrection. We know that Jesus has conquered death. We know that sin does not have the final answer, that we are not separated, that we cannot be separated from the love of Christ. We know how it's all going to end. And yet we still find ourselves sitting in places of fear. We still sit in the darkness, refusing to open our eyes to the light. On this Easter Sunday, I hope that you bask in the sureness and in the truth and joy that Jesus has conquered the world. Whatever it is that causes your heart to quake, whatever it is that makes you make decisions out of fear, change it. Today, let that fear go. And if you are having a hard time, ask Jesus to help you with it. Ask him to redeem that fear, to take it and to transform it into something that you can be courageous about, that you can boldly step out in faith, to be able to proclaim that Jesus is risen and there is nothing left that he has not conquered or redeemed. I hope that you have a wonderful Easter and a wonderful Easter season now that it has begun. Lent was 40 days, but Easter is 50. And I think there's something to be said about those extra 10 days of joy. We have been preparing, and now we get to celebrate. God bless.